Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Wednesday to everyone. I hope you're having a great week so far. Tell me, how much do you love that new intro? So I just wanted to find a way to make these holiday projects a little bit more special so that you would know they were seasonal. And so for Halloween 2021, I created that one. Now that's not going to be the one I use for the 13 Days of Halloween series. I know you all look forward to that. And that is Tech Hubby's department. He will be sharing that with me. I've not seen it yet myself, but I think it's going to be awesome and can't wait to show you that one. But for now, we have one special for Halloween 2021, and this is going to be my first project with that intro. This is a fancy full card I created with the So Cute It's Scary printable from my shop. I'm having a lot of fun creating some new printables for this year so that we can have something fun to create with, and this one coordinates very well with a paper collection from my stash. So I'm excited to use this and get through some of my hoarded paper collection. So stick with me and we will make this together. Okay, so here is that printable. I think it's so cute and I'm very excited to get to create with it today. For my project, I was able to print this just in the size it was designed, but if you want to just print a few of these cards or change the size of them, that's very easy. Just open it in Word and then crop out the ones that you like and then click the corner and drag it to size it. That's so easy. And then you also want to remember to use some really good paper like I do, the Astro Brights Ultra Bright, and you'll get a really good print quality from that. And so here's the image that I'm choosing for my project today. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of sparkle on there, so I put some stickles on some of the areas just to bring out the details. And then I also used some black cardstock just to create a border for this that matches the rest of my card. And then I popped that up on some double-sided foam spacers, so we're going to get a little dimension from this. And so this is all set to add to my card. When I am using this card base for today, I made it a little bigger than what I generally would. So this is a pretty simple card to make, even though it's a fancy fold. It's not a lot going on for the construction, and that is really nice. But I did add about an inch to the top, and so typically I would make this 6 by 6, and so this one is 7 by 6, and I was able to get the base out of just one sheet of the 65-pound weight cardstock, and so it measures 7 inches by 12 inches wide. I have a score line at 3 inches and then also at 6. So then when it closes up, it's going to take half of the front up for this additional layering part. And then here's this little bridge piece that's going to connect them. And so what will happen is you can add this here, adhere it, and then it will open this way. And so this piece, once again, is 12 inches wide. And my first score line is at 6. And then my second score line is at 9. And so this will keep all of these pieces connected together. There's a third piece for this card, and we're going to switch to 110-pound cardstock for this portion. It is 4.5 wide by 5.5 tall, and this is going to be added to the front so that we have room to put all of our layering on, and it will move right along with that front portion. So this is going to be the base. What we have to do first is add the back. This is the best time to do this because there isn't any dimensional bits layered on, and so I'm just using my collection from Authentique Paper. So this is the Masquerade collection. Even though it is not new, it is still available. I checked on scrapbook.com and you can still get this as a collection, and I love it. It has the most beautiful vintagey tones to it, so I think it works perfectly. And for the measurements on this, my cardstock is going to be 6 7/8 by 5 7/8, and then my pattern paper is going to be 6 3/4 by 5 3/4. You're going to need 2 of these, and it doesn't matter what pattern paper you put on top, but I like them coordinated, so I just went ahead and cut them from the same patterns, and I'm using the Spectrum cardstock that is also from Authentique Paper. It is black, but it has a little bit of a grayish vintaginess to it, so it isn't quite so stark. Now you see this is very thick and sturdy, and because it will be standing up, you do want to finish the back and make it look nice there. Okay, so the next thing you want to consider is what will be underneath the armature that moves toward the left, and you got to put that down first before you put any other layers on. And so this is going to be another white piece of cardstock. I went back to 65 pound weight for this. So that portion underneath is going to be the same as the one we're adding on top. So it's 4.5 by 5.5. And then I've got my cardstock layer, which is going to be 5 3/8 by 4 3/8. And the pattern paper is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. And this is just going to be centered for every layer so that I get a border of the white cardstock and also a border of the black. And this is just an easy way to make all of these layers pop and to brighten them up. So you can imagine if I were just using black cardstock, it would kind of be sort of dull, I think. And so I'm going to put this on. Lucky for me, there is a grid pattern on the back, so it will be easy to get this centered and level. And I think this is going to work pretty well right here. Now when we get to the portion that connects it to the front, I did go ahead and put some double-sided adhesive tape on that, but we're gonna go ahead and put a second layer of adhesive. I'm just gonna add Tombow because this piece will be moving and I want it to be very well secured. And I'm just going to pull all this tape now. I'm just putting a little bead of that on, not too close to the edge because I don't want it to squish out. Now hold everything together and just add this right where I want. And then I'll hold it down for just a bit while that glue sets up. That adhesive tape will also help to keep it secured to the base. And the next layer you've got to put on is the side panel for this that will show. And this piece of cardstock is 6 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then the pattern paper is 6 3/4 by 2 3/4. And I'm just keeping all of my borders the same throughout. And I have to top this portion here on top before we add the next piece. For the cardstock on this one, it's going to be 6 7/8 by 1 7/8. And then the pattern paper is 6 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, here is that top piece one more time. Remember, I did use the 110 pound for this because a portion of it will hang off. You want it to be very sturdy. I have put my adhesive only on the portion that overlaps so that I don't accidentally seal this card up. And I'm just gonna line this up with the one on the bottom. I want it to hide that layer. So now we're back to the cardstock layer, and once again that is going to be 5 3/8 by 4 3/8. And then I'm just putting a secondary piece here, a little layering pattern, and this is not necessary, but I had it left over from a different piece that I cut, so I went ahead and cut this just to measure the width of this portion. Okay, so here is the front and the little armature. What I want to do is add the piece that goes in here. Probably could have done that before I added the arm, but I think it'll be easy enough just to scooch this in here and get it stuck on. There we go. You can see that is well centered. Now this will open I want to cover these two portions. So now I have 2 7/8 by 1 7/8 for the cardstock, and for the pattern paper it's 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, that will fold up perfectly, and look how nice and sturdy that is. It will stand up very nicely and become a dimensional part of this card. So I've got my doily here, and this is just my favorite 4-inch doily from Cherryland Designs, and I cut that from a nice crisp white cardstock. And once again, that helps to brighten up the appearance of the card and break up the patterns in the background so that the focal image will be very prominent on the cover. And remember, we are putting this on with that foam adhesive, so it will be a little dimensional. Okay, here's my flower arrangement I'm going to use today, and this was my Triad A dupe for the Prima flower arrangement from the Halloween collection. I just really loved it, and I wanted to try and create it myself, so I used some of my dies to create a very beautiful and layered peachy soft pastel colored bloom here for the middle. I finished it off with some very sparkly glitter. I don't know, can you see that? And then finished it with a neutral stamen, and then I paired it with a couple of black flowers created with the leftover cardstock from my borders here, and put the gold in the center for those. And then for their arrangement, they had a little bit of extra detail on their leaves, so I took my orange marmalade distress ink and just added that to the outside of all these leaves and gave them a nice shape. So I've got skeleton leaves here on the outside to mimic their arrangement, but my addition was to put in some netting with a little gold sparkle and some loopy twine bows. And this is just going here. Now remember, this whole part is going to move when it's open, so I have all that space to adhere this, so I don't have to cram it down in here and get it too crowded. I can put it way up here, and I'm going to add that with my hot glue because it's a little heavy. I think that looks like a good color palette for this card because the plaid on the printable is a little bit lighter, and so that peachy color looks really pretty, and then the darker flowers anchor the arrangement to that stripe. Okay, got a couple last details to add, then we're going to be done. So I've just picked a couple of charms here, different shapes, and I connected them at different lengths so that this is going to sort of fill in this corner. And I will add these as I do by adding that string to some hot glue and then topping it with this actual vintagey button from the antique store that will hide the cut edges. I've got 3 more buttons and I'm going to add them to the bottom here. Okay, so my final detail is going to be some sequins, and this is a nice mix. It has a combination of different tones of the same shade of beautiful peachy orange, and so I'm going to add a couple of these here just to accent the side of my printable. Okay, so that is all for our fancy fold card created with the So Cute It's Scary printable from my shop. I'm going to link that in the top of the description, and you can also find links to all our socials there as well. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye!